If your goal is to be rich, or if your goal is to do more or be more in life, if you want to be great, if you want to be what you know you're meant to be, if you want to fulfill purpose to your fullest potential, then stick around because this video is just for you. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So on today, I want to have this conversation that I think is a good conversation. I know it's a conversation that's pretty frowned upon. However, we're just going to have the conversation. We may offend some people, but hopefully we don't offend as many people as we might, because definitely don't want to offend anybody at all. If you're new to the channel, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like, comment, hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of the content that we drop. We typically tend to drop, or I'm not going to say we typically, but we tend to drop content that's around going from an entrepreneur to an entrepreneur, basically working a 9 to 5 and then starting your own business. We also talk about finances, basically getting yourself to a point of being able to financially hold your own business. And the only way to do that is obviously by being debt free. So we definitely talk about that. And then we like talking about transformation, transforming our lives from one state to the next state. So this conversation definitely involves a lot of what I just mentioned. And this conversation is basically on how there are so many, I would say that we're definitely a more sensitive country. We're more sensitive people in this day and age that we're living in now. And because of that, we think that some things are bad or evil or a problem. And the one thing that we think that can be bad or evil or problem is being rich. I can tell you for me, for the longest, I grew up in a Christian household, grew up my father being a pastor, my mother being a first lady, and growing up in church and just in religion, right? And when I say religion, I'm just saying traditional religion, not saying a relationship with God, but I'm just saying traditional religion. It was almost as if, I'm not going to say we were made to believe, but there was this sense or this feeling that if you're rich, you're evil, right? If you see people that has money or people that have more than enough, they're doing something bad to get that. That's definitely how I felt. I don't think that my parents made it or wanted me to feel that way, but that's definitely how I felt growing up. I thought that anybody that had money was bad. I thought that anybody that had money had to be doing something that they shouldn't be doing, because seeing people with a lot of money just wasn't the norm unless they were doing something bad. So you take that, plus you take, there's a Bible verse. It says, "The love of for the love of money is the root of all evil." And that verse would get twisted so much, and it would get surmised so much to where you wouldn't hear "for the love of money," you would just hear "money is the root of all evil." So for the longest, I felt like and I thought that having money was a bad thing and having money was a problem. And even into my adulthood life, in relationships, I struggled in relationships, some relationships previously, because like individuals like me that grew up in the church, once I got to the point where my mindset was shifting, if their mindset was still stuck there or they still hadn't grown, they had that mindset that having money or nicer things is a problem, right? We hear so much, oh, it's okay to be content, to where I just want to be content and I'm okay with how I'm living. I'm okay with my situation versus I'm going to put action behind what I'm my thoughts and what I think can help me um, to get to a better life versus I'm just going to stay in my certain situation because I know God is going to bring me through this. Don't get me wrong. I truly think that God can bring you through it. Think that he will, but I think that God wants you to also work, right? You got to put work and action behind it. It's like in the Bible where he talks about the the master that gives his servants all the talents. He gives to one 5 talents, one I believe he gives two, and then um, 1 5, 1 3, and 1 1 talent. And the person with the 5 talents goes and brings back more. The one with the 3 talents or 2 talent goes back and brings back more. But the one with the 1 talent only brings back the 1 talent because he buried the talent because he didn't want to waste his master's money, where in reality he was just being lazy. All right. So definitely I feel like there is this misconception of money and being rich. And with that, I really want to talk about, or this conversation is really about me and you all who want to get rich. I truly believe that in order for you to get rich, you have to become obsessed with it. If you want to get truly rich and truly financially free, you have to become obsessed with being rich. And I know that sounds like a bad thing, but the reality is, if you don't become obsessed with it, then you're just going to constantly procrastinate and waste time. I want you to think about it like this. There are we praise athletes. We praise and recognize actors and actresses and celebrities on how great they are, right? Michael Jordan, in my opinion, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. Um, I think Kobe Bryant is another great of all time. I think LeBron James is a great of all time. However, they were obsessed. If you go back and watch any film on them and you go back and look at their story and you look at what they did to get there, they were obsessed with becoming great. Like they were truly obsessed with being better than everyone else. If you look at Tom Brady was obsessed with winning. Like he had to prove himself that it's not just Bill Belichick. He left the New England Patriots to prove how great he was. All right. It's not just athletes, it's actors and actresses. Robert De Niro, Denzel Washington, Nicole Kidman, Michael Jackson. All of these individuals obsessed with being great. And honestly, we praise them and we talk about how great of an actor or actress or musician they are. Everybody still to this day, we're in 2025, everybody still says Michael Jackson is the greatest of all time. But if you look at Michael Jackson's history and his story, you will see that Michael Jackson was obsessed with being great. He was obsessed with being better than everyone. So if it's okay for them to be obsessed with being great, then why isn't it okay for us, for people, to be obsessed with being rich? Because being rich, that just means that you're great. It means that you're great at something. You became great at something. And we look at this whole thing of being rich like it's a problem or a bad thing when it really isn't. All right. An individual may want to be rich for multiple reasons. You can't sit and say that it's a problem or think that somebody has a problem or there's a major concern with them because they want to be rich. Do you understand or do you know why this person wants to be rich? You likely don't. Right? There's a lot of people that think that if they literally think that, oh, they just want to. I think people think about. I have this thought in my head where Scrooge McDuck, and I remember when I was a kid, you saw Scrooge McDuck swimming around in his money and all of that. Like they're just evil. No, a lot of people they want to be rich because they want to retire their parents. Like that is literally a reason why I want to be rich because I want to retire my parents. My parents are they're hitting 60 this year. They're literally getting ready to hit 60s, their 60s, and they're still working 9 to 5s. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if they're prepared for retirement. So why wouldn't I be obsessed with becoming rich to help my parents, to retire my parents? I have a pastor at my church. My pastor is in his 60s. My pastor literally has a construction business, but he's a laborer in his own construction company. So I see my pastor limping around. I see my pastor in the sun, in the heat, and he's a full-time pastor. So when he's not doing construction, he's counseling someone, he's mentoring someone, he's studying, he's preparing for service. Why wouldn't I want to obsess with becoming rich so I can retire my pastor from being out in the sun? Right? Whatever your goal or your thought or your plan or your reasoning behind wanting to become rich, I think you have to obsess with that so that you do become rich. And then you can't worry about what people are going to say. Because people aren't going to agree with you. People are going to think there's something wrong with you. Likely people are going to talk bad about you. They're going to say that you're different, you're changing, you don't hang out, you don't do this, you don't do that. Well, you have to be that difference maker, right? Again, part of your purpose may be to feed the hungry. Part of your purpose may be to house the homeless. You can't do that working a 9 to 5. You can't create homes for people by working a 9 to 5. You may be able to purchase 1 or 2, maybe 3 homes working a 9 to 5. But I'm talking about starting a homeless shelter, starting a food bank, being able to give to people in third world countries. How can you do that without having enough money? How do you get enough money? Unless you're working in the finance world or possibly the tech world, a lot of these 9 to 5s aren't going to fully make you rich quickly. Now, I'm not saying that you can't become rich with a 9 to 5 because there are a lot of places, right? You get to the point of being in a C-suite or you're a vice president for an organization company. Yeah, you can definitely become rich. You can have a 7-figure salary. However, just a normal job, you're likely not going to become rich. So you have to obsess with becoming rich and obsess with the things that can make you rich to get there. And then you can't dwell on what people say about you. You can't dwell on your family is disowning you or anything like that. You have to truly lock in and focus on that. You have to become like unhealthily obsessed with becoming rich. And that's how I am. Like for a while now, I've been obsessed with getting out of my current state. I've been like hyper focused, obsessed to the point where I don't sleep because my brain doesn't shut off. Because it's literally always obsessing with I gotta get rich. I gotta get rich. I gotta get rich. I gotta retire my parents. I got my family. I have my kids. Like I gotta get rich. I have to take care of my family. It wasn't a problem for LeBron James. the different Ronaldo and Messi and all of them, you think they became great soccer players by just being average, by practicing 2 hours a day? Do you think Robert De Niro became one of the greatest actors of all time because he went to acting class once a week, didn't practice when he got home? Do you think the president of the United States became great and became the president without obsessing about how to make change for the American people? Do you think the prime ministers became the prime minister? Like, these people in these certain positions, they obsessed about being great. And by you obsessing about being great, I can tell you that there won't be a balance for a while. Like, you're going to lose sleep. You will likely lose friends. You will likely lose family members. And when I say you'll lose family members, but people won't contact you like they used to. Like, you're going to lose stuff. I've been so obsessed with becoming rich that I've struggled with my relationship with my own kids. And I'm not praising that at all. I actually feel horrible about that. But I know that's the sacrifice. Me personally, I want to ensure that my kids are always protected. And honestly, having money brings protection. I want to ensure that my kids never have to want, that there's never lack. Now, once I'm there, then I have to hyper focus on repairing and building a relationship and obsessing with that balance for my family. Do you think that the people that you know would say that you have an unhealthy obsession with being successful and being rich right now? And if not, then how can you honestly say that you want to be rich? You you have to you have to, like, it gets to the point where that's all you talk about. That's all you think about. You'll have to figure out a balance, right? Like, for me, I was so obsessed with it that I was lacking in so many areas. And I have a better balance now, but there was a time where I had no balance. So, for all of you that want to become rich, for all of you that want to fulfill purpose for you and your loved ones, I think that you have to become unhealthily obsessed with being rich and unhealthily obsessed with being great. And it's almost like, I'm not going to say arrogance, but it's almost like people will think that you don't have humility or that you're not humble. And honestly, in that sense, you know you're humble, but you also know that you want to be great. And there's a difference between being great and average. Like, there is a difference between being great and average. You got to think about the thousands or millions of teenagers, young men, young women that try out for the NFL or they play college sports and they're getting ready to go to the NFL or the NBA or the Olympics or the Major League Baseball, and they don't make it. The difference between them and the LeBron Jameses of the world. Somebody obsessed with being great. So if it's not a problem for LeBron James to be obsessed with being great, you don't have to worry or feel like it's a problem for you to be obsessed with being great. Like I said, your family, your loved ones, they're probably going to think that there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just different. You have a different purpose. You have a different drive. So, my advice for anybody who wants to become rich, anybody who wants to become great, you have to become obsessed. It has to be unhealthy. Like, you have to truly be obsessed with being great, being rich, having a lot of money, and you'll get there. Right? You have to work seriously harder than everyone else around you, and you'll get there. Don't let no one tell you that you can't get there. Don't let no one tell you that there's a problem with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just different. You're obviously striving to be part of the 1%. You're different than 99% of the rest of the race. Human race. And that's fine. That's okay. You were created to be different. So, focus, lock in, and you'll be great. You'll be rich one day. When you get there, let me know, because I want to cheer for you. I want to root for you. With that being said, catch you on the next time.